So I've come up with a new challenge or kind of format to me going out and doing some street photography. I wanted to give myself some limits. I wanted to flex my muscle in a couple of different areas. And so I put all of those on a spinny wheel and just went for it. And whatever it lands on, that's what I'm doing. So I have two wheels, and on the first one is about the lens that I'm using. Now I currently have access to 6 different lenses, so I put all 6 of those on there. That includes the 16mm 2.8, the 23mm 2.0, 35mm 2.0, 18 to 55 kit lens 2.8 to f4, and then the 50 to 140 2.8, all of those from Fuji. And then I have a Nikon 50mm f2 that is an old manual lens that I have a converter for, so that I can put here on the Fuji as well. And the idea is that whatever lens it lands on, that is the one and only lens that I can use for the entire photo shoot. So let's go ahead and give that a spin and see which lens we're using. So on this photo shoot, we are using the 50 to 140 2.8, doing a little bit of telephoto street photography. And now onto the second wheel. This is going to be kind of the type of photography that we're going to be doing. This has a mix of a couple things. This has a color challenge on it, so I have to pick one color and really try and focus in on trying to find that color throughout the entire session. This has film photography, so that means we'll just kind of be switching completely, forgetting about the lens and only using the one lens that I have for my Nikon film camera. This also has black and white. This has reflections. This has portraits, and I forget the other one. And last but not least, even though I forgot about it, is long exposure. So let's go ahead and give the second wheel a spin and see what we're doing. Alright, so that means today we are using the 50 to 140 2.8 to do some black and white street photography. Now, I decided to do this a little bit in the evening. I probably should have done it a little bit earlier, so some of these photos are a little bit higher ISO than I necessarily wanted, but that just kind of is what it is. And let's go ahead, I'm going to jump to the POV of this and let you kind of see what I'm doing, the photos that I'm taking, and we'll come back and talk about the experience afterwards. welcome back. Before we jump in and talk about my thoughts on these, want to let you know those photos will be posted over on Instagram and Twitter at I'm Aaron Ross, so make sure and join me over there. And also, I use this photo shoot as my photo of the day. I'm in the middle of a photo challenge, doing a photo every single day for 30 days, and this was one of those days. If you want to see the video of that entire experience, make sure and hit subscribe and turn on that bell so that you're notified when that video comes out. Now, I'd say this was an interesting challenge. Using this lens is not my go-to when I'm doing street photography. I usually use this when I either have wildlife or I'm doing portraits, maybe a little bit of landscape photography, but not really street photography. So it was a little bit of a unique experience for me trying to use this lens and just see my surroundings in a different way. And also the black and white. I rarely photograph with the intention of editing those in a black and white, and for me, just to make sure that I was focused on that and not getting distracted by the colors, I changed the film simulation on the Fuji to Acros, just so that everything that I was seeing through the viewfinder was already in black and white, so I was able to really see what I was going to be getting. So this did mean that I was looking for elements of light that I'm not necessarily used to looking for. I'm used to looking for pops of color and contrast in other ways than just in black and white. And with black and white, all of those colors are gone, right? Obviously. So you're looking for light and dark that's going to pop or kind of show layers or something like that. I think my favorite photo that I made out on this photo shoot was the one that had a lot of layers of the bridges and the bus and the train all kind of looking out technically over a river. I don't think you can really see the river in that photo, but to me that was my favorite photo that I was able to make because the long lens allowed that compression, and then the black and white really highlights those different layers and contrast happening there in that frame. But let me know what you think of this concept, of this limitation down in the comments below. We can definitely do this again, spin the wheels and see what else we get, and kind of limit ourselves if you want to join in and try and go do some of these photo shoots in the same way. But I do think that's going to do it for today. So until next time, I'm going to go make something. I hope you do too.